This is Angie Malone. I'm a farmer's insurance agent. You can find me at hashtag cookies at 2. I am out of St. Paul, Roseville area. I have with me my district manager, Terry Jones. He's been in the business for over 30 years, so I am very happy he's here with me today. Terry, what do you think pops into people's heads when we say life insurance?
Um, well, to be honest, the first thing people probably think about is I don't need it, or hey, it's not going to happen to me, or I'm too young. It'll happen to the other person. So when you're talking about life, when you're talking about your own mortality, a lot of people don't want to talk about that.
I absolutely agree. I run into that conversation, kind of a dismissive conversation with clients when I do bring it up, that it is a valid conversation that we should have. It's, well, I have it at work, or I don't need it right now, or it's probably not something I can spend money on right now. What would you say? How do you dispel those myths? I go into many, many scenarios. Terry, how many?
Or there, I'm young. Maybe I'll think about it when I start a family or buy a house, and I'll worry about it then. The sad truth, though, is I believe in the last statistics I got, there was 9,000 GoFundMe accounts open here in the Twin Cities, and 7,200 of them were for life insurance, or excuse me, for funeral expenses. So they're always thinking this is going to happen to the other person. It doesn't always happen to the other person. And the time to be getting it is, if you wanted to time it out ideally, buy it the day before you're going to die. But when will that be? You don't know that. You don't know when you're going to be in an auto accident or if your home's going to catch fire. You buy insurance to protect you and your family and your assets. So, when is the right time? If it's based off your age, the younger you are, the least expensive it is. But most importantly, how can you forecast what your insurability will be? There's
Absolutely.
a lot of people out there that can't have this valuable protection for their family because of high cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, something medical that they cannot have this for their family.
Right. There's lots to think about, and I would say starting out simple is, a good way to start. And I think people think it's too overwhelming to think about, is another thing I come across in working with clients. And it's really, Farmers has done an exceptional job, even in the practical sense of application. We do them online. It's such a smooth process. It's electronic signatures, not a lot of paperwork, for you to fill out and so forth, to overwhelm you with what does this mean? What does this mean? And with that said, there's multiple products. If perhaps you've heard the scenario term versus perm. What does that mean? And I think that's another scenario that's great for discussion. Start out just with those two items. What does term and perm mean? What have you come across, Terry, with those conversations?
Well, first, I'm so glad you're starting your first pod with the life insurance because life is the only product that can create an estate for your family before you've had a chance to earn it. So, in any insurance portfolio, life is the foundation because if you're not here,
Who's paying the auto insurance bill?
who's making that mortgage payment? Who's paying that? Yeah, that
All that
high
goes
auto
away.
premium.
All
Yeah,
that goes away.
that homeowner's premium. So I'm glad you're starting with the life. But yes, if someone's deciding, yes, I do need this, there's so many commercials out there. There's which do I buy? Term insurance? Do I buy permanent insurance? A lot of people go off advice that from a real reliable source, like the garbage man or the next door neighbor that might have heard, oh no, you don't want that permanent. The good news is both of them will do what you want, and that's take care of your family if you're not here to do it. So you absolutely can't go wrong with either one of them. So, and term, to me, that's exactly what it says. You know you only want this for a certain term. And at Farmers, we can give it level, keep it a level premium for 10, 20, maybe even 30 years based off of your age. But term
Absolutely.
insurance always goes up as your age goes up. So if at the end of that term You know, you've had no financial hiccups. You know, kids hadn't moved back in with their grandkids, and everything got paid off like you wanted. Then 20-year term, 30-year term, that's great.
But again, how can you forecast that?
Correct. And permanent insurance is just like its name. It's permanent. It locks you in at this age, so your premium can never go up. But it gives you options. If one of those things we just talked about should happen, I can, you know, stop paying on it. I can keep paying on it. The thing is, it's not. All the commercials say, you know, at age 65, everything's going to be puppies and rainbows. Well, our job as insurance professionals is to make sure, if that isn't the case, that you have options.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think you think, like Terry says, you know, you plan everything out, which is great. We're all about planning. That's why I'm in, you know, this business. But there are hiccups, and that's the best way to figure out and plan is to have options to deal with the hiccups. And that is, you know, it can be term for a while. And then the wonderful thing about that is, okay, so you start with term, you know, perhaps, and then you can go into permanent even. It's a convertible policy with farmers, which is it's called value term. It's a wonderful product. So there's options there that perhaps you don't even know about. And then your permanent policies, they pay for themselves over the long run. You may be afraid of the premium at first even, but in the long run, it takes care of the hiccups. It gives you the options. Yes, if all of a sudden you're taking care of the grandkids when you're 67, not something you had envisioned. You had envisioned world travel. Well, you know, life throws us curves and we deal with them. Well, there's so many options within that life insurance to deal with those terms.
Especially in the permanent insurance, it's building you a cash value that you can use. And if you enjoy good health and you never need this life insurance, permanent plan gives you cash value you can use to supplement your retirement, turn it into an income you can never outlive. You know, pay off the home early, buy that cabin you always wanted. But the thing is, it gives you options.
Yes, I would say that's what we all want to feel is we have options. It puts you in the driver's seat. When you say, you know, I alluded to before, I have it at work perhaps, or I don't know that I don't think I need it right now. It just get it started. It puts you and your loved ones in the driver's seat. It makes an emotional circumstance not turn into a financial tragedy.
And we hear that one. How many times do your clients tell you that? Oh, I have it at work.
Yes.
I have it at work. Well, that's great if you have work for someone that will provide that. Usually it's one time your salary. If you work for a good company, usually it's 2 times your salary. The question I know I've heard you ask your clients, well, if it was 2 times your salary, would that even pay off half of your mortgage? Because everyone I've ever talked to, they would rather leave their family a home and not a mortgage. So while you have something at work, that's fantastic. If that's a benefit, if it's given, it can also be taken away.
As we know. With everything going on with, you know, the health insurance and everything, it's a cost to the company, so they're going to evaluate, and you never know. The life insurance benefit you have could go away. So you need to have your base with your own policy away from work. That would be what you want to rely on and focus on. And the other stuff is wonderful to have, but that's a complement to your base. With that said, too, you know, like Terry says, do you want to leave your loved ones with a home or with the home or the mortgage? You have to think about all kinds of things. If you were in the pleasant circumstance of, you know, the mortgage now is in foreclosure, well, kids have to change schools perhaps because they have to move out of the neighborhood. There's all kinds of things, like I say, emotional tragedy. That can play into even further tragedy for coping with something you never thought was going to happen. So that's why I really enjoy having the discussion of what life insurance can do for you and your family. It's a fascinating product, and like I say, it's great for discussion. You don't have to be afraid of it, and it's for you, for your lifetime, and your loved ones.
And that's I've had agents that said the reason they love insurance so much is they get to be there at the best times of their life and the worst times of their client's life. And if I don't know if viewers have seen or have experienced a death, but when everyone else is coming to ask for a check, you're the one coming to deliver the check, that they get to stay in the home, that they get to continue the dreams if they want their kids to go to college. Everything that they wanted to do that spouse, parent is not there to continue to do, life insurance steps into the shoes to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it gets a bad rap out there or saying, I don't want this or I don't need this or it's a scam. I really don't see where the scam part is, that I want to make sure your family's taken care of for the rest of their life or that they carry on your dreams. So to me, yes, it's the most important and the only one that will create the estate for your family before you've had a chance to earn it. So glad again you started with this one.
I to be honest, I'm so excited to have come into the insurance world, coming from wealth management and so forth. I understand, taking care of assets and making financial planning, and the life insurance was talked about in my wealth management position, but not as a key component. And that's when I came into Farmers, and in speaking with Terry over time and other agents, and just in speaking with my clients, it's amazing what this product can do. And I'm so excited to be a part of, like Terry says, being there with the client in the best moments and also to help with their worst moments. I can't tell you enough. I've come across, many experiences of personal tragedy where we are dumbfounded. How did this happen? And it's such a true blessing that they had the life insurance. They're continuing their life, of course, without that person, which is emotionally difficult, but they're able to keep moving forward with their plans, as Terry said. They're staying in their schools. Their kids are going to college. That stability is so important, and that's what life insurance affords for you.
And the sad truth is, with or without life insurance affects generations. So if you didn't have the life policy, that will affect generations.
Absolutely.
Or if you had that. But people that are watching this, if they had more questions, your clients, you talk about life insurance all the time. What are some of the questions that come up from your clients I heard you mention, how much do I need?
How much do I need? Yes. So there's so many good ways to look at that. We have evaluators, needs analysis, whereas you arrive to a number. You're learning what you need. I'm not telling you this is what you need. You're learning through this investigation and discussion what you need, which is very important. Because your life, your dreams, your plans. So with that needs analysis, you can arrive at a number and we can go from there. A lot of times say, oh, that's so expensive. Can I really afford it? There's so many good options with that scenario. Mm-hmm. With the term and perm, you can marry the two together for an insurance portfolio for yourself. So you do a 10-year term to get you through the rest of your mortgage, for example, and then that one can fall away, and then you have your permanent that continues. So there's so many good options in that scenario. So you don't have to be afraid of, is it too expensive? The important thing is to start the conversation.
Yeah, there was a study done by LIMRA on what would $250,000 of insurance cost. This was out a couple of months ago. How much should $250,000 of life insurance cost? Now, they didn't ask, is this term, is this permanent? They were just asking the random people.
Okay.
And people have no clue. They just think it's too expensive. Well, right. We've never even discussed, or the fact, as Angie said, they can tailor the needs to fit their budget. But there's people that assume that's $5,000 a year.
Right.
$10,000 a year. So that misconception out there. life insurance isn't expensive. The things that it provides is expensive. The mortgage, the car payment, the
Yes.
clothes, those are the expensive things. But think about now, if you think life insurance is expensive,
Think of it without.
yeah, take your income completely out of your family's situation. How tight would money be then?
Right.
And that's exactly what we're trying to talk about. Life replaces that income for your family.
Absolutely. I think one of the other fascinating things is talking to people, how much does it cost and so forth. It, like Terry says, it's, people really don't have an idea. And the big thing is, let's just start the conversation, and then you can go from there. You can't do much with something you don't know, so that's your first step. Get informed, figure out how this can fit. And the other piece is, which I really talk about with my clients a lot, you don't have to come up with the money. Oh, where do I find this in my budget now? We hardly have enough to go to a movie. Well, actually, the money's there. It's just a matter of going through things. You can shift a little bit here. You can shift some here. It's amazing. Once you put it in place, it just goes. I cannot tell you how I like to impress that on people. Just get her started. All of a sudden, it's going. It's rocking and rolling. And you don't want to wait, even another year, even another 5 years, even another 10. As your life, as you age, your health changes, it gets more expensive. And like Terry says, life is way more expensive without it.
Well, and the fact that there's discounts on your auto insurance, just for example, that frees up premium dollars that you're already paying.
Like I say, it's there. It's there. It's just starting the discussion. It's moving money around.
And for the average person, it's probably less than a large pepperoni pizza and a 2-liter Coke that they get.
Yes.
Can't live without every Friday night. You could have a life program set up for your family for probably about the same cost. So that's one thing I always kill me when I'm out running out with agents is, oh, it's too expensive. We not even talked price. How do you know?
Right.
Speaking on that, on price wise, this is a perfect time of year, and I know
Yes.
you just written some up for some clients 2 days ago. Christmas time coming up. A lot of time, parents or grandparents want to buy little Johnny a fire truck that he'll play with for 2 months, and then it'll go in the closet for 6 months, in the basement for 6 months, and sold at a garage sale. So we show them that, hey, here's a gift that's going to go over originally like getting socks. It's not going to be well
Really?
received.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
each year it'll be appreciated a little more and a little more. And when they appreciate it the most, the sad thing is the grandparent probably won't even be around for them to thank them. And that's talking about buying a permanent life policy on a grandchild. It is huge when they've got the foresight to guarantee this child's insurability. So regardless of what happens to their health, they
my
will
gosh,
have this
it's
policy forever.
Yes.
And
As old as 15 days old.
then the other
Boom.
part is when they're our age talking to their insurance professional, they can say, well, here, I'm still paying the premium of a 4-year-old or a 6-year-old if I even want to continue paying on it. But you've locked in their age. So right now, that's a great time for grandparents to be looking at, here's a present that will keep giving year after year, and you'll appreciate it the most. And some of them say, hey, I'll give it to them after they graduate college or whatever, but that's the owner's choice. The main thing is locking them in, their
Yes.
insurability. I
I have to say from personal experience, I'm going to share because I think it's a great story, and it speaks to that. I have 4 children, and my father-in-law actually was a farmer's agent for many years. And when my babies were born, within 2 months of their birth, I was given life insurance policies for them. And it did kind of go over like oh my gosh, here's a Berber egg, and I was like, what is this? What is this going to do me? And you think about, why do I want a life insurance policy on my baby? I don't want to think about that. Well, here's the wonderful piece of it. Over the years, it accumulated cash value. Well, my son in college studied abroad. Guess what? There's the money. Cash value. I was able to take that money out. Another child, down payment on a vehicle. I was able to take that money out. I cannot tell you how grateful I am. And it is very true. He is in heaven, looking down upon us, but he did a world of wonder for my family.
Yep.
So, all right, I guess we can kind of wrap it up for this first segment. I'm very excited to start this whole series, like I say, put you in a comfortable situation to learn about insurance. I think it's important to talk about. Like I say, you're paying your premiums religiously. Do you know what you have? Do you know what's protected? Starting conversations about life is utmost importance to me and with my clients and my agency. And Terry's been a great guide for me in that as well. And I'm happy you came along with me today. And I'm going to continue my podcasts, and you can find me at #cookies@2. Great to see you all and great to meet you all.
Thanks for including me in here.
Well, thanks a
enjoyed
ton,
it.
Terry. It was awesome. Bye.